Hey everybody, Chris here. Another dump in the crypto market overnight. Did you get shaken out of your Dogecoin? We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You'll be notified when my new videos come out as well as when new live streams. We had been watching Dogecoin go up for a bit. A retest of previous highs is not out of the question. We normally see that. Maybe we're looking at a much larger, more volatile kangaroo market as well. We do have a lot of liquidations going on, still fears about economy. We're going to cover all of that. So let me show you the charts on the news, show you what I'm looking at. We start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart. This is on the 1 hour, and we are looking at Dogecoin just over 18 cents. Did drop down to about 17.9. That's right, 17.9. Did not quite hit our 17.8 support line. I'll show you that in a minute when we take a look at the bigger scale. We're going to zoom out a bit, but overnight here was Dogecoin dropping, and it was following Bitcoin. Look at the big sell-off on Bitcoin overnight here. This was quite a big drop for Bitcoin. On the 1 hour, dropped below the 200 SMA, where Doge came down and just touched it here. So Doge overall still doing better. In the bigger picture, House of Doge and other support has really helped Doge, but still vulnerable. Let's look out on the daily, and we'll see where this is coming from. Now, this was the death cross that we had for Doge, and this was a couple weeks ago. At that time, Dogecoin was at a price of about 16.5. And everyone's screaming, oh, Dogecoin death cross, Doge is going to drop. And Dogecoin actually continued on its kangaroo market up and down, and then broke out to the upside. Dogecoin still, even with this pullback, is higher than it was when we had the Dogecoin death cross. Everyone talking about Bitcoin death cross coming up here. Now that Bitcoin has dropped below the 200 SMA here, it's probably going to accelerate. The 50 SMA coming down quicker, and we could see a Bitcoin death cross come the first week of April. A lot of people are starting to pay attention. Again, it doesn't mean anything, guys. It just shows you what happened in the past, not what's going to happen in the future. But with Bitcoin, its support down here is 84.3, and that was its resistance that we had back here a week ago for Bitcoin. And a lot of this is shakeouts. We'll show you that. The bigger one is ETH. ETH has dropped even lower than it was, and ETH very susceptible to dropping even lower, below 1900 now. We were talking about reclaiming $2,000 for ETH, but ETH has really sold off at quite a big scale. So what's going on overall right now? Look, hey, there's the dancing Doge. We love that. Look, we look at Dogecoin. Trader Allen, he's got a good line. The market structure has shifted from a downtrend to an uptrend on the daily chart. We zoom out, and we are still in an overall uptrend, forming higher highs and higher lows. There are two significant support levels that Allen has identified here, and that would be 17.8, and that's the same one that I've got, right, from the higher highs that we had before. So 17.8, that is our support line. And then we also have the bottom of these daily candles at 16.4 would be our second support line if there continues to be a fallout in the market. And what's going to happen here? If the price remains above 17.8, the uptrend continues, and we would probably form new higher highs. If the price falls below 17.8 but stays above 16.4, then the trend shifts to sideways, and we're back in kangaroo market territory. However, if the price drops below 16.4, the downtrend restarts, requiring Doge to build momentum again to break the structure, and so that would be a very bearish move. So this is what we're looking at right now, and we'll explore more of this in my next live stream, which will be Friday afternoon. Make sure that you're subscribed, have your notifications on always. Like the video as well. Always like the likes as well. If you haven't done that, just go click that like button. Help support the video, gets it out there for more people to take a look at what is going on. But this market structure diagram that Alan's made here is actually pretty good. Zoomed out, looking at the bigger picture. And I know some people are like zoomed in, right? You're going to zoom in and you're going to be like, oh, Doge is dropping. Doge, not really, not doing bad. Again, I'm worried about ETH. ETH certainly has a market structure that looks much weaker, which we've been talking about for well over a year now. As ETH, remember, ETH migrated from proof of work to proof of stake, and I said all the miners are going to leave. Right? There's going to be none of that mining support for ETH anymore. A lot of them are mining Doge. Many went to Bitcoin. Many seeking out like Kaspa or others. But Doge will have that support. That mining support will continue, and it will continue to grow for Dogecoin. But why is Bitcoin, ETH, even XRP price dropping today? So Bitcoin price dropped. Decline in Bitcoin has also affected ETH, XRP, Doge, widespread market crash. Not really market crash. I say pullback. Caused by a massive sell-off in the spot market. And a lot of this was it was Bitcoin. It was really led by Bitcoin and ETH. And I'll show you why ETH in just a minute there. And again, it's selling. It is selling activity, more sellers than buyers. Low demand from buyers, particularly for ETH. And one analyst on X noted that selling pressure has been weighing on ETH since December. And I say it went even further back before that. ETH will continue to drop further, possibly below $2,000 when this was made. And it's even gone below that, down to $1,900. And on Bitcoin, we've got a lot of options here. The options are down to the 80,000 to 85,000 range. There's a lot of options here. There's a lot of people who are betting on further drop in Bitcoin. So besides the current market conditions forcing these cryptos down, we have macroeconomic factors as well. Auto tariffs, we talked about the tariffs are just still, again, until April 2nd. So this tariff thing is just going to weigh on the uncertainty, right? The uncertainty of the markets because of the tariffs. And some economists are warning of a looming recession. I am not in that camp. I know some of you are, but I'm not in that camp that we're going to have a recession. Reuters stated U.S. Congressional Budget Office projects weak economic growth and a spike in unemployment. Well, again, I think that spike in unemployment is not going to happen because there are new jobs being created. There's going to be a shift in jobs in the United States. And I don't see that huge spike in unemployment coming. And then later today, again, I'm making this on Friday morning, PCE inflation data is going to come out. And anything that hints at rising consumer costs will force crypto and, of course, stocks pre-market. And then at 9:30, of course, we're going to get the volatility again when the stock market opens, and maybe a 10 o'clock Jane Street dump will happen again. So all of that, again, this is all short-term stuff, though. So Bitcoin needs to make a decisive close above 86,000 to avoid a sustained downtrend. ETH needs to hold 2,000. That's already broken. Doge has already fallen below 20 cents, and we will see where Doge goes from here. And also, we have this $12.2 billion worth of Bitcoin options that are set to expire. Some people think that that is a huge deal on Bitcoin. Again, this is all investor trading stuff. And this cryptocurrency, I think, should be beyond this stuff. But because it's money and it's an investment, you're going to have all of this going on, particularly the liquidations. We'll look at that again in a minute. Will Dogecoin hold the line? The Bollinger Bands are flashing a critical alert. This is something that Satori BTC looked at on, he's got the Bollinger Bands turned on, and he's like, he made a good call. He looked at this and he was like, look, we're at that midpoint of the Bollinger Bands. We had the big run up of Dogecoin hugging the upper line of the band, came back, was retesting the middle, and he was like, be cautious of potential volatility as market reacts to these levels. And what we ended up seeing then is Doge then has dropped further and is now at the bottom of the Bollinger Band and we're starting to bounce back off of that. So many times we see Dogecoin hugging the top band, falls. Does it break the middle here? It did in this case, came down to the bottom and then broke up. We saw that happen again as Doge dropped all the way down, below 15 cents. So kind of interesting using Bollinger Bands as a strategy for looking at trading. Guy, Coinbase, looking at the spot Bitcoin ETFs, how we have had 10 consecutive days of inflows. I think that is changing today, though. I think the market is probably going to be down, and we're going to see a red sell-off on the Bitcoin spot ETFs. That is most likely going to come. More interesting, though, is the ETH spot ETF. Look at this. 17 consecutive days of total outflows. Sell-off of ETH ETFs. This is why I don't think we need Dogecoin ETFs. It's like another one of these trading investor mechanism things. It's like, let's get Dogecoin as a currency doesn't need this. I know investors are going to do these vehicles. They're going to do this stuff. But look at what happened to ETH. That's just incredible. And we look at the liquidations, and over the past 24 hours, it's not Bitcoin that has led the way. It's ETH. $140 million of ETH. And we're talking huge, absolutely huge wipeouts of ETH. $3 million, $2 million, huge bets on ETH that are getting wiped out. And look at this whole consecutive, look at this, 187, 187, 187, 187. Look at that. Look at all of these. They're all the same. I mean, this is like heavy betting on ETH. They were thinking there was going to be a big turnaround on ETH after ETH dropped. So what did they do? What did the market makers do? They went and they dropped ETH further. Yes, manipulation of the market on ETH to wipe out all of these leverage longs. That's how that works. So this is down. And this is all before PCE data even comes out. We don't even know if it's going to be bad or good or level or whatever. But this is capitulation before the data even comes out. We don't know what the news is going to be. So the market is volatile and they're taking out the leverage positions. So here's Doge. We're holding on to 18 cents now. We've got 17.8 as support down here. We'll see whether that holds or not. This is all just trading stuff, guys. This isn't like the end of the world. But I would say don't get shaken out. And for those that were looking for opportunities to buy more Doge, you could this morning you could have gotten some Doge at 17.9. Will this drop even further, maybe to 17.8? That is still in the cards. We will see. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about the shakeout here? How you feeling about your Doge holding on? Looking at the bigger picture, how things are going to go. Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.